Hello everyone, so today I thought I would film the mid-year book freakout tag. I miss doing little reading check-ins on here. I will preface this video by saying though that I have not done a sit-down book video in quite some time. I do miss it a lot, and I do want to get back into wrap-ups, TBR videos, reading challenges, just list style videos of books I've been loving, not liking, whatever. I just want to find the excitement in reading again. I just haven't felt it. I don't want to say all year, but kind of. I just feel like I got into such a rut trying to read what I saw other people reading, and I feel like I got kind of lost in that, and I stopped reading things that actually called to me. And I have been on a journey to find more booktubers that I like to watch, and it's been very inspiring, very fun, exciting. I'm having just a really great time discovering reading in that sense again. I've never stopped reading. I think I just stopped feeling the excitement around reading in books. I feel like if anything I was feeling more safety and just comfort in reading, whereas I feel like for the last few years there was a lot of excitement in reading. I wanted to read so many books, there was never enough time to read all the books that I wanted to get to, things like that. So I think we're gonna go ahead and start off with my book stats of the year. I will say it is beginning of August, so the stats are going to reflect through July and through August as well, but my book choices for the questions that I'm going to answer are only books that I finished through June. So this year through August 4th, I have read 38 books. My goal this year is 67 books because last year I finished 66 books. I will say those 66 books, that was a hard goal for me to reach. At Christmas time, I was rushing and forcing myself to get to reading, and I haven't felt that kind of pressure in quite some time. I do think though that the amount of books, whatever goal I set for myself at the beginning of the year, is honestly probably the only goal I've kept up with for the last however many years, and that feels really good. So I know that reading isn't about quantity, it's about quality, but I will say just personally, I would like to keep up with hitting that goal, even if that means maybe next year lowering it. But I will say since college, I've just been upping it one more from the amount of books I read the year before. And right now I'm sitting at 2 books behind schedule. I think that's good enough. So my top 4 moods are reflective, emotional, dark, and funny. 26% of the books I've read this year is nonfiction, which I am pretty happy with. I would say on average I usually read a quarter nonfiction every year, so I'm really happy with that number. My top 3 genres: contemporary, literary, memoir. Not shocking to me. I think what's shocking though is that it says I've read 8 memoirs this year, which usually means I have a lot of 5 stars, but no, I don't know if I've read, I've only rated 2 of them 5 stars. Hello, I Want to Die, Please Fix Me by Anna Miller-Paperny, and then Intonations by Zadie Smith. Those are only 5-star memoirs that I have read this year, which is kind of shocking. So 71% of my books are print, and then 29% are digital. So I was doing a lot of reading on my phone from the library at the beginning of the year, and then I got a Kindle in June, I believe, and I have been obsessed with it. I think it is so fun. I love it so much. I feel like that has honestly sparked this new excitement for reading again. I don't know why, I think I just needed a change, and I think a Kindle was an amazing addition to my book collection. My average rating for the year right now is 3.68 stars. But yeah, those are my stats for the year. So the first question is favorite book of the year, and I actually have 2 books to mention in this category. I will say the first one I'm going to talk about though, I would say is top favorite of the year 100% so far. And I actually did love it. I wouldn't even say it was just in comparison to everything else I've read this year. I think this will be one of my all-time favorite books I've ever read, ever. And it is Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. So it is set in Chicago in 1971. We're following a big Christian family. The dad is a pastor at the church. The mom went through some really crazy, traumatizing shit when she was younger that the husband, I don't even think, knows about. They have 3 or 4 kids. Every section or chapter is told from a different character's POV. I don't know if I said this before, but it's set like right around Christmas time, and you are just so in the characters' heads, and it is beautiful. The writing is magnificent. It is just the best, the best. If you love a messy family story where you can almost like see everybody's sides, you love and hate everybody equally, I feel like this is a book for you. I honestly don't know if I have much else to say about it except for I highly recommend. Like, I loved it so much. It was fun to read it right after Christmas and the New Year when it was so cold and snowy outside. So, highly recommend. I feel like I don't have the words to describe how much I loved his writing. I'm going to read everything Jonathan Franzen writes ever. Like, I could see him becoming one of my top favorite authors. I feel like some people hate him, think he's problematic, blah, blah. I don't really know. I don't know much of the drama of all that, but I will say I loved it, and I can't wait to pick up more of his books. The second book I'm going to mention is called Reprieve by James Jan Matson. I read this summer. It was described to me as like a literary thriller, again, where every section is told from a different character's POV. We're following just a bunch of, like, I'm gonna say random people, and you really don't know how they're all connected at first, because you're like, oh, they live across the country, or oh, she lives here, or oh, he lives there, and you're just kind of like really confused about how everybody knows each other. But basically, there is this haunted house in Iowa, I forget, but in like the country, it seems like, honestly, neither of those might be right, but like in the country somewhere, where they have gotten into a little bit of like trouble or bad press now, because throughout their like 30, 40, 50 years of being open, they're like one of the only haunted houses in America where the people working the haunted house can, you know, touch you, grab you, hurt you, push you around, whatever. And it's, I want to say it's filmed on TV, you know, you're with a bunch of random people, or like your group that you come in with. You have to find these envelopes in every like room or like chapter of the haunted house, and then if you know, find all 5 in section 1, you get to move to section 2. If you find all 10 there, you get to do this, and every room gets more and more intense and like scary and like violent. And one of our main characters works there. Another main character becomes friends with the nutso that like owns the house, and it's just nuts. It's nuts. Somebody ends up dying, and you kind of just have to figure out like what and why. They talk a lot about like race and class and things of that nature within this haunted house themed story. Like, I loved it so much, so much. And I was so scared to read it just because I moved out by myself last year, and once I did that, I kind of stopped with the scary, dark, true crime. I know this isn't true crime, but like anything that could possibly freak me out and not let me sleep at night. And so I was very wary to pick this one up, but I was like, you know, it's summer, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. And I'm so happy I did. I loved it. It's really making me want to get back into horror. Okay, so the next question is a new release you haven't read yet but want to. Again, I have 2 books to talk about for this prompt. The first is Daggett by Jenny Fran Davis. So I actually just purchased this a month or 2 ago. I'm going to read you like a short description, just a short little blurb about it, because I'm honestly not the most sure, but I do remember like being really excited to read it. So they describe it as an addictive, absurd, and darkly hilarious debut novel about a young woman who embarks on a 10-day getaway with her partner and 2 other queer couples. So it's a story unfolding over 10 Dazed, I get, is an unforgettable love story at the crossroads of queer nonconformity and seductive normativity with repulsive plotting and sexy, wickedly entertaining prose. So it sounds like it's going to be a lot about desire, want, that whole thing, and I love the cover. So there you go. The next book I want to add for this prompt is Small Worlds by Kayla Azuma Nelson. A couple years ago, I think in 2021 now, I read Open Water by him, and it was the most beautiful writing I have read in such a long time. I want to reread it so bad, but I'm so scared it's not going to hit the same way. I remember highlighting and underlining so much in that book. Loved it so much. It's one of those books when I hear people's bad reviews about it, it upsets me. I'm like, how dare you? How dare you have anything negative to say about this book? Like, excuse me? I don't know. I'm just so excited to read Small Worlds. I think it came out this spring or summer, like May maybe. It says, an exhilarating and expansive new novel about fathers and sons, faith and friendship from Kayla Azuma Nelson, the #1 best-selling award-winning author of Open Water. Set over the course of 3 summers in Stephen's life, from London to Ghana and back again, Small Worlds is an exhilarating and expansive novel about the worlds we build for ourselves and the worlds we live and dance and love within. And I just feel like it's really gonna like do it to me, you know, like I really feel it in my soul that it's really gonna deliver exactly what I need it to. See, I need to start picking up books like this that I'm actually excited about. So here's my issue. Here is just a small tangent. So I have so many unread books sitting downstairs in piles and piles and piles, okay, in my book room. Some of them have been gifted. Some of them have just been sent to me in the mail. Some of them I got bulk at like a Half Price Books or something like that. And that's all fine and great. But then I feel like I stopped buying books I like have been wanting to read for a really long time because I had so many unread books downstairs. I would just like go into these shops and just, you know, shop around for an hour or two, and it was so fun. And I have loved some of the books I have gotten, and I am excited to read a lot of them still, but I don't know, I stopped doing that. Honestly, I don't think I've been to any stores like that since last year, and that feels really good. And I have been doing this new system where I have to read 2 of my physical books. Who cares how it came into my life? Just 2 of my physical books that I own to be able to buy 1 book. And that has been really exciting because it's forcing me to read the books I have, but still getting excited about buying books. And I really thought this like 2 out, 1 in would really cut down on the books that I have sitting downstairs, and no ma'am, no it has not. Let's see, most anticipated book coming out in the second half of the year. For this, I have Death Valley by Melissa Broder. I read So Sad Today and Milk Fed a couple years ago. I think like honestly back to back, obsessed with her, obsessed. Again, Milk Fed is one of those books that I'm like, how fucking dare you have anything to say about this? Everybody's got something to say about it, and I don't know, I just remember it making me giggle and feel really sad and seen in a lot of ways that I didn't really expect out of that book. And then I read The Pisces. I think I read it this year, actually, this spring. No ma'am, I did not like that one very much. I don't even remember what I rated it, but I would be shocked if it even got a 4-star. It was not for me. Like, I don't understand everybody in this. And she falls in love with a merman, and it was so sexy and la da da. And no, I could have honestly probably done without, now that I'm thinking back. It just like did not hit in the same way at all. Like, it was almost like too on the nose. It like kind of like a little goofy, but not in like a ha 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 fun way. It was just kind of like, what? So yeah, it wasn't for me, but I'm kind of shocked because I feel like everybody loved The Pisces and then read Milk Fed and had almost like the opposite reaction of me. And I'm kind of wondering if it's this weird thing of like, once you read one of her fiction books, you like get the fix you need, and then the next one by her, it just cannot hit the same. Like, it just will not. I literally have no idea, but I am excited for Death Valley. Let me read you a blurb. The most profound book yet from the visionary author of Milk Fed in The Pisces, a darkly funny novel about grief that becomes a desert survival story. So yes, like the funny sadness of it all is truly just something that I need in my life. Like, I love it. I love it. So I really think it's gonna be good. I think it comes out in like October. sometime this fall, but I think it's this October. And the cover, again, very cute. So the fourth question, biggest disappointment. For this, I put Dogs of Summer by Andrea Abreu. I cannot lie to you. I have been eyeing this book for so long because of the cover. The purple and the red and the girls on the cover. I could just die for it. Like, I love the cover with everything in me. So I was really excited to read it, okay? I know that's horrible, but you're lying to yourself if you don't judge books a little by their cover. Like, it definitely adds to the excitement or deters you from reading it. It's about these two young girls living on the Canary Islands. Everyone was comparing it to My Brilliant Friend and the toxic relationship that the two young girls have. The being so close as like young girls that you're almost like a point past just loving them as your friend and being like obsessed with your best friend to the point where you're like doing toxic things. You guys don't treat each other probably correctly and like in a healthy, nice way. There are no boundaries. This book was definitely told in a very like gross, explicit, sharp kind of way, which I did appreciate, but there was just something about this book and me that just did not get along. If I'm being honest, like, I don't even know what it was. It could have honestly just been like the time that I read it. It was just not it for me. So it wasn't like the worst book. Like, I'm really like chalking it up like it would like sucked. It did not suck. I think it was just one of those things that like I went into it for whatever reason. I think because of the My Brilliant Friend comparison, the cover, the like explicit writing. I was like, oh my god, it's gonna be so good and gross and nasty and like hot in the summer and like sticky, like it was gonna make me feel all the summer feelings, and it just like didn't deliver what I wanted it to, or as much as I wanted it to. But I do kind of feel like this year I've been putting a lot of pressure on the books I've been reading because I'm yearning and searching for the 5-star of it all. I just haven't had many opportunities to get a 5-star, I feel like, and so anytime that I have high hopes for a book, it just, I think the hopes are like too high. Like, unfairly so. So, there you go. The fifth question, biggest surprise? For this one, I am going to say If an Egyptian Cannot Speak English. Again, this is one of those books that I picked up because of the internet. I give it a 4.25 star. I was pretty nervous to pick it up. I'm not sure why. Just like what it was about. Like, it seemed like it was going to be like sad in a way that I just like couldn't handle at the time. And I don't know. There was something about it that I was a little weary of. And it really delivered. It really did the damn thing. I really thought I was going to rate it 5 stars. Like, it was just really good. It was really good. So it says, winner of the Grey Wolf Press African Fiction Prize, a lush experimental novel about love's a weapon of empire. So our main character, we have two characters. We have two main characters. A woman who is Egyptian American. So she's from America, living in America. Her parents are Egyptian. She goes to Egypt, I want to say to teach English for, I don't know, a year, a summer. I don't remember. She falls in love / meets a man, an Egyptian man there. They move so quickly through their relationship that it is not real, if that makes sense. Like, he has basically moved into her apartment, I'm going to say within weeks of meeting each other. But here's the thing. He has drug addiction. He, I think, is homeless. And I feel like everything is like great and fun and fine until they both need to start communicating certain things with each other that they just like cannot figure out how. And he becomes very violent and scary and abusive towards her. But there's something about the way she was raised and her just thoughts and feelings on like relationships and herself and how she sees herself as like an Egyptian woman and an American Egyptian woman living in Egypt, having a lot more money, higher class, things like that, that she could give to this man. Like, she has a lot of resources and like money and things that she can provide for him, like easily, so that I think she like doesn't know what to do with the guilt and all these things that she's feeling while being abused by this man that, if I'm being honest, she barely knows. And then the ending is just like, whoa, 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 whoa. I really think the ending is what like put it to the 4.25 that I rated it. Like, the ending was just like, wow. Like, if you have been kind of like wondering if you should pick it up or not, I really think you should. Unless if any of the things that I just talked about are gonna like trigger you and like make you feel like extremely uncomfortable, to the point of it like being unhealthy, I don't think you should read it. But other than that, I loved it. Like, if you have been considering it and just putting it off, I really think you should just like get to it and then tell me how you felt. Newest fictional crush. I went a little non-traditional though for this question, and I answered nature in general from the book Upstream by Mary Oliver. This was either the first or second book that I read this year. It was beautiful. I want a physical copy so bad. I'm going to reread it. I'm going to highlight in it, underline in it. It was beautiful. The way this woman describes nature and being in nature, and the way that like being outside can make you feel, like it was making me feel like I was laying in the sun on hot grass with like bugs all around me in like the best way in the middle of January, you know? And I just feel like that's so like not impossible to do, but it was like amazing that like that time of the year is obviously like the opposite of what I just described, and she was bringing me straight to it in a way that I felt like I was like there. Like the book was beautiful, and the way she described nature in general, beautiful. But I highly recommend Upstream by Mary Oliver. Beautiful writing. Book that made me cry. I don't think I have cried while reading a book at all this year, honestly. So there you go. That's very odd for me. I'm quick to cry. I'm an emotional lady, a little sensitive, and I don't think I've cried all year. That's saying a lot about the reading that I've been doing this year. Not great, you know? Book that made me happy. This was an easy answer. The Book of Delights by Ross Gay. I just finished it at the end of June. It's a nonfiction. I don't know if it's technically categorized as a memoir, but Ross Gay decides one year that he wants to write a delight per day, but really hone in on the delight, make it very specific, not very general. Like, he really goes in depth, and it really makes you feel grateful and happy for the things that you have in your life, the experiences you've had. I feel like it was the uplifting kind of joyous book that I needed this summer, okay? So if you're also in need of that, Ross Gay is where it's at, I will say. The last question. Books I need to read by the end of the year. So I would say in general, my whole TBR, like I said, my physical TBR is out of control. It is insane. There's too many books downstairs in a way that has become overwhelming to me. So I need to work on that. I need to almost like put my Kindle away, but I've had so much fun with my Kindle this year that I can't do it to myself. You know, this reading year has honestly been kind of a wash. So I don't want to make it any worse than it is. I will go ahead and say the books that I'm in the middle of though. I definitely want to finish those. I really have confidence in myself that I will. One of them is Swamplandia by Karen Russell. We're following this family who owns an alligator amusement park, kind of like a carnival situation where they like wrestle alligators, and people are like paying to come watch people wrestle alligators and like eat snacks and drink and hang out, and they're in the swamps of Florida, I believe. And basically the mom and the family dies. The dad is I don't want to say he's neglectful as a parent per se. He's going through a lot on his own, which gives the kids a lot of freedom to roam and do whatever they want. They're not in traditional school. I want to say their lives are like this, like even before mom died. The oldest brother decides that he wants to go to the mainland, leave the island, go to regular school, get a regular job, whatever. So he dips out. The teenage sister, like middle school age sister, is on one. I don't really know. She keeps telling her little sister she's like seeing ghosts, but I really think she's just like meeting men in the woods and being, I don't know. She's like meeting men in the woods and then lying to her little sister about it. Her little sister, our main character, is honestly just trying to like put all the puzzle pieces together. I would say you feel bad, you feel sad, you feel pity for her because she doesn't understand that in a family where everybody is so selfish. You have to have a little bit of that in you to make it in life. She's still too young. She doesn't like fully get that yet, and so she's very concerned with, I feel like, putting her family back together. You know, where's mom? Dad, why can't we open our amusement park again? She's writing letters to her brother. She doesn't even know where he lives, so she's just like stacking them on her dresser, letter after letter. She can't even send them because she doesn't know where he's at. She is helping the older sister perform spells and talk to these ghosts so that her older sister is happy. And she's just kind of left, I think, feeling lonely and confused. And it's really good so far. My internal star rating has jumped quite a bit. I have no idea how I'm going to rate it. Parts of it I really liked. Other parts have dragged a little. So I'm not sure yet. But I'm only like 30% through. So it's not like I'm like super far into it. But I do want to finish that for the end of the year. Those are all the books I have to tell you about today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm happy to be back. And I'll see you in the next one.